BD Research Club members, this week we're going to talk about Escobar, one of the biggest factors in the spread of drug use, who made his fortune through illegal means and became one of the biggest opponents of the legal order, but at the same time managed to become a folk hero. If you're ready with your coffee and in front of your screens, here we go. Colombian Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria was born in 1949, the third of 7 children of a farmer father and a schoolteacher mother. Escobar's family was not in a good financial situation. In the 44 years of his life, he managed to make his name on the list of the world's richest people from scratch. Escobar, who never liked poverty, knew early on how rich he would be in the future. Escobar, who started out as a petty criminal as a young child, realized that smuggling black market products made more money and turned to this field and began to make a name for himself in the criminal world by selling smuggled cigarettes and counterfeit lottery tickets. Escobar, who had risen to fame as a cigarette smuggler, met a Colombian woman in Medellin who was dealing cocaine in Miami at the time. At the time, no one knew about the substance. It was just beginning to spread to the United States. This woman taught Escobar all the details of her business except one, and together they bought drugs from South American countries like Bolivia, Chile, Peru, and sent them first to Colombia and then to Miami. While things were going very well, the woman in Miami was caught for another crime and went to jail. This was the turning point in Escobar's life. Escobar was desperate in Colombia with tons of drugs. Without a wife, Pablo Escobar had no idea how to get the stuff to the United States. At this point, Escobar made one of the smartest decisions of his life and placed an ad in the newspapers to get his drugs into the United States. In the ad, he talked about a business opportunity that would pay $10,000 to people with US visas. At that time, drug trafficking was unknown, and Colombians were not notorious in the United States. At first, only a few people responded to the ad. Escobar paid them $10,000 and paid for their round-trip tickets to Miami in exchange for taking the drugs hidden in secret compartments in the suitcases to Miami. Those who went delivered the drugs in the suitcases and came back with $1 million. $10,000 was a lot of money in those days, so when word of this new business opportunity spread, everyone in Medellin lined up, and suddenly there was an unexpected influx of tourists from Colombia to Miami. 10,000 people a month began traveling from Medellin to Miami. Escobar, who bought the drugs in Bolivia and Peru for $3,000 a kilo, paid $1,000 a kilo to those who brought them to the United States in suitcases. Escobar sold the substance, which cost $4,000 a kilo, for $100,000 in America. He managed to make a profit of $960,000 on each 10-kilogram suitcase. Thus began the drug trade that would make him one of the richest men in the world. In 1975, Escobar eliminated the biggest drug lord in the Medellin region on his own orders. He was now the largest in the region. In addition to the United States, he began trafficking drugs to Mexico and Puerto Rico. He even had an airport built on the ocean island he bought for his growing trafficking network. By the 1980s, he was on his way to becoming the monopoly not only of the Americas, but of the world. It had a pipeline that stretched all the way to Asia. The Medellin Cartel controlled 80% of the world's drug market. Escobar had an interesting relationship with the Colombian government. On his personal orders, many Colombian prosecutors, policemen, and statesmen who hindered him in his illegal activities were eliminated. In 1983, he himself entered active politics. With his entry into the Chamber of Deputies, he gained political power. Escobar's greatest dream as a young man was to become president of Colombia. With both political and economic power, Escobar forced his opponents to choose between money or bullets. He was able to spread terror with what he did to those who did not respond to his offers of bribes. Escobar changed 3 heads of state and blew up an airliner for 2 informants who turned him in. He even had the United States Embassy bombed. But Escobar's greatest fear was that he would one day be extradited to the United States. He said he would rather not live than face that possibility. To avoid it, he offered government officials to pay off Colombia's entire foreign debt of $10 billion. When the presidential candidate was eliminated in 1991, Escobar was offered to surrender in exchange for a commuted prison sentence with better facilities. But when Escobar said he would serve time in a prison he had built, the government agreed as a last resort. Escobar built his own luxurious and private prison, where he could barbecue and even play soccer. After a while, government officials realized that Escobar was running his organization from here. Under pressure from the United States, a transfer to another prison was ordered. He took the bureaucrats who brought the transfer order hostage and managed to escape from his prison surrounded by 400 soldiers. For Escobar, both the Colombian government and the United States were now enemies. Escobar posed for a souvenir photo with his son in front of the White House, while Interpol had warrants out for his arrest around the world. In the period before he was hunted by the police, Escobar bought an area 62 miles from Medellin. He named it Hacienda Napolis. He turned it into a center of pleasure and entertainment for himself and his loved ones. Hacienda Napolis was 5,000 acres with its own airport, zoo, villas, soccer fields, tennis courts, swimming pools, bars, playgrounds. The zoo had more than 10,000 animals. The Hacienda Napolis could accommodate more than 100 people, and more than 700 people served Escobar and his guests. Large meetings related to his business took place in this unique place. Even though Escobar was one of the richest people in the world, he was able to connect with the people, the peasants, and help them. He continued to help Colombia by building schools, hospitals, parks, and churches. Through his men, he distributed between $300 and $600 million a year to the people, and in their eyes, he was more powerful and more honest than the state. Some people even saw him as Robin Hood, taking from the rich and giving to the poor. When he embraced the poor who were ignored by the government and ignored by the rich, the public always continued to support him, even though his core business was drug trafficking. He turned Medellin, where he lived and where his cartel was based, into the richest city in Colombia. He also built Colombia's first subway line in Medellin. He had a special interest in soccer and gave financial support to many soccer clubs. His interest in soccer and his donations helped him gain popularity among the poor. It is estimated that Escobar earned $60 million a day, especially in the last years of his life. Escobar did not bother to count the money he received. He weighed it. The tires he used to stack the money he earned cost about $3,000 a week. His accountant and brother, Roberto Escobar, stated that 10% of the money was eaten by rats, soaked in water, or lost. It is unbelievable that this money is $2 billion. Escobar used this incredible fortune to buy houses. It is known that he has more than 800 houses. Because of these houses, the police have been looking for Escobar in these houses for many years. His monopolization of the drug market made his trading partners uneasy. With the power to stop the supply of drugs at will and manipulate prices at will, Escobar had become a major threat to them. The Colombian government, the United States, and its restive trading partners declared war on Escobar. Escobar knew he had the support of the public, so he did not hesitate to wage war against them. Escobar announced that he would pay $1,000 for every policeman killed and $30,000 for every American officer killed. As a result of Escobar's move, over 1,000 policemen were killed. After Escobar's move, the competition between the two sides increased considerably. Operations against Escobar's men began to increase. Escobar responded with bombings. Many civilians died because the bomb, which was supposed to be left in front of the government building, was left in the wrong place. As a result of this mistake, Escobar's hold on the public was shaken. The most important thing to Escobar was his family. The safety of his wife and children was Escobar's first priority. He tried to smuggle his family to Germany, but his plans were discovered by the Colombian government and the United States, and Escobar's family was captured. Although he knew he was being tracked, a phone call to his son proved to be his undoing. With that call, Escobar's location was determined and a raid was organized. And after the raid, Escobar was captured dead. Although there are different stories about his death, his son Paul's account is more remarkable. "My father always told us, the telephone is death. My father didn't use the phone even once for 10 years. But on December 2, 1993, the day he died, he called us 7 times. He always told me how he would end his life to avoid being caught. He always said that if you want to end your life, you should shoot yourself in the right ear. That's how my father ended his life when he was surrounded." The autopsy report pronounced Escobar dead, as his son said. The reason the police who captured him denied this is believed to be because Pablo Escobar had a $10 million bounty on his head. Remember when we told you about the Hacienda Napoles built by Escobar? Let's end this video with some interesting facts about this special place. After Escobar's death, the government confiscated this large amusement park, but since the animals inside were very expensive to maintain, the government couldn't afford it and donated the animals to other zoos. The security guards couldn't decide what to do with the 3 female and 1 male hippopotamus that were not normally in Colombian territory and had come from Africa as a gift to Escobar, so they released them. There were even times when the hippos left the countryside and mingled with the people. The release of the hippopotamus into the wetlands resulted in rapid reproduction. Today, Escobar's legacy numbers 60 hippos. For a long time, the Colombian government tried to control the number of hippos, but they were not very successful. As a last resort, the Colombian government decided to sterilize the hippos. 23 years after his death, Escobar continues to be a hero to them. Even today, Escobar holds a special place in the hearts of low-income Colombian families. Churches still light candles for Escobar during Sunday services. This reverence is easily seen in Escobar stickers, graffiti, and t-shirts. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Share your thoughts and ideas about the video in the comments section. You can also turn on notifications to get more content and be part of our community. See you in the next video.